Hello and welcome to Tewksbury Public Library's Teen Virtual Event Cloud Light. We're going to start here with a basic plastic bottle. If it has a label, take the label off. We have a fairy light wire here and a piece of fishing line. And of course our fiber fill, also known as pillow stuffing. You'll also need hot glue gun, hot glue sticks if you need them, and a pair of scissors. So we're going to start here with our plastic bottle and a pair of scissors. We are going to cut a little slit in the little groove here on the bottom of our plastic bottle. Just be careful that your hands aren't close to your scissors here. I'm just going to cut a little gap in there and use our scissors to make it a little bit bigger and easier. If you need a parent to help you with this, that is a good idea as well. Next, we are going to take our fishing line, and we're just going to take the end here. It's very fine, so just be careful it doesn't slide off the table. And we're just going to push it through that little slot that we made, cut into the bottom of the bottle here. You're just going to feed it through and keep feeding it through until it eventually will reach the bottom mouth of your water bottle. So you can use your other hand, putting your finger inside of the mouth of the water bottle to catch that fishing line once it gets down there. And we are just pulling the string through. That way the string is going to go through the water bottle here, so you can see you can even lift it up with the by the fishing line here. And then we're going to take our fishing line and we're just going to kind of pull it as tight as we can. You're going to want to make one of the part of the fishing line longer so that way you have more room to hang it. And you're going to make the other one a little shorter, and you're going to tie those two together best you can. It is slippery, so don't be discouraged if it doesn't tie the first time. And then if there's for the little piece, you're just going to trim off the excess and keep that long end on there. So you'll see, really trying to push it down on there, but it might be a little loose. We can just glue it later, so don't worry too much about that. Next up, we're going to take our scissors away and get our glue gun out. So we're going to plug that in just so that it can heat up while we're getting everything ready here. If your glue gun has a low and a high setting, I would recommend using the high. Again, be careful around the hot glue gun. It can burn your fingers on the tip, the metal part. So again, just be careful. And if you need supervision, seek it, of course. Here we're unwrapping our fairy light. This is a wire fairy light rather than a string. It's a little unit. You'll see that little white part is where the battery is. So it does already have a battery in it. You're going to pull the tab on the end out, and that way it's going to let the battery turn on. And then we're going to unwrap our wired lights here. So the little piece somewhere in the center here is where it starts. So you're going to want to find that You can see it's actually wound a little bit around it. So you're just going to want to find the end of the wire and unwrap it. So it took me a little bit to unwrap it myself, so I'm just going to pull it out, you see, and unwrap the wire lights. So now we're going to feed the end of our fairy light into our water bottle here. We're actually going to feed the entire fairy light into the water bottle as much as we can. So you can see, just push it through. It does try to tangle, so but it will eventually all fit in there. Now that we fed most of our fairy light into the water bottle, I'm going to take my glue stick here and I'm going to push them down just so that the fairy lights aren't all clumped up in the just the top part. So I just will adjust it a little bit. And you can even give it a test drive if you want to see what it's going to look like. And we're just going to pull down our battery cartridge here to the middle side of our water bottle on the opposite side from our string being tied, just so that it's on the bottom. That way it'll weigh it down. If it doesn't stick properly, or you're picking up with the string and it's a little heavy on one side, you might need to remove it and re-glue it. That's the center of gravity thing right there. So just put it roughly in the center. It looks like I moved it down a little bit. You actually see because it was tilting a little bit when I tried it out. So here we're just going to get started adding our fiber fill. So I just kind of take a little piece off. I'll either roll it in my hands or just stick it on. I usually put a little bit of hot glue on the bottle first. That way It won't burn when I push it down. If you put it on the cotton first, it can sometimes burn your hand. So I would just put it on the bottle and then just put these little pieces on. That way, if you put a big piece on, it probably won't stick very well because it only has a little bit of glue for a big piece. So I would use little pieces, and it gives you more of an impression of a fluffy cloud. Now, since we glued I glued the center of my knot of my fishing line to the bottle just because mine was a little bit high and it was getting in the way. I couldn't get that knot as close to the bottle as I wanted. So if you haven't done that, then it's a good time to do it. You can see I'm actually gluing the bottom side that has the cartridge on it first. That way I can avoid the fishing line a little later. So you can see I'm giving it a test drive to see about the weight. And just make sure when you're putting your hot glue down that you're not getting the fairy light wire. You don't want to get hot glue on that if you can help it. You can see I'm going to cleverly hide that little battery pack on the bottom. So I was thinking about putting it on it, but then I was like, I don't know if I'd be able to see it. So I'm going to take a long piece, so I'm rolling a longer piece, and I'm going to glue it next to it, and then that way I can flip that long piece up so I can turn it on and off easily. So I can just move aside some of the cotton to get to the battery pack, but then it won't be seen. I am actually gluing on top of the battery pack, and that's okay. Just avoid the wire part if you can help it. And if you do need to change the battery, if that's something that concerns you, You could see we did glue it so that the screws would be facing up, so you could technically still pull off there that flap that has the batteries, and you could replace them. But it's entirely up to you. So just make sure to get those edges there. That's going to make it look less like a water bottle shape and more like a cloud. So just make sure you're looking all around your cloud and making sure you're filling in those gaps that show the water bottle, and you're getting the ends of the water bottle as well. I'm just speeding up the video here just because I'm doing much of the same thing repeatedly, so just so that we're not just waiting here through me just putting cotton on it. So right here, just make sure that again that you dodge your fishing line. So you can glue on top of the one going across, but the fishing line that's going up, you're going to want to avoid that. So that's why I'm going from the outside over, and then I'm just going to hold up the line to make sure I don't accidentally glue it to the water bottle. And I'm just adding the last little bits here. And if you're looking at your cloud and you want to test it or see what it looks like, you need to add a little bit more poofy areas, or like right here I realized that it wasn't really sticking, so I just added a little bit more glue. And then you can lift it up by the fishing line to make sure that it's wasn't caught or glued incorrectly, or that the weight's not distributed strangely. I'm just adding a few more pieces for decoration, make it a little bit fluffier of a cloud. And you can glue on top of the fiber fill you already put down. Just again, you're gonna get some strings, and for the glue strings that have probably gone on your cotton along the way, just make sure to remove them at this point or as you go, because it will kind of make your cloud look a bit strange to have all the glue strings on it. So that's just from the hot glue, that just happens naturally. And we're just gonna give it a little fluffing here. Just gonna add a few more pieces, and then I think we're just about almost done here. And when you think you're all set, flip it over and switch that on there. Get that nice light effect. Fluff it up if needed. And there you are. We have our cloud light. Wasn't that fun? And make sure to check us out on our Tewksbury teen accounts on Instagram at TPL Teen or our Tewksbury Public Library socials at Tewksbury Lib. Look forward to seeing you again.